Hello! Welcome to Rockstar HQ. My name is Emma Holmes and I am the founder of Rebels and Rockstars. If you've not been here before, welcome, hello. This video this week is all about how to get your friends and family to support you in your business and with your business venture. Let's go have a look. Support and gaining the support of your friends and family. Now, I know that this is one that comes up an awful lot for my gorgeous rock stars, and they get a little bit perplexed because those who are closest to them, those who they feel should be their biggest and bestest cheerleaders, sometimes don't get it and sometimes are saying things that may produce a bit of a wobble, may make them question whether or not they've got their support, may end up in a position whereby they are not quite sure whether they're in or whether they're out on this growing a business thing. Do they even believe in me anymore? Do they think that I can do this, or are they waiting for me to fail? Now, I know that so often when we are looking at our immediate family, our friends, they often come from employed roles. There are often people who work in a job and are very much used to that way of life. And I think that, lots of people are used to receiving their paycheck at the end of the month, whether or not they particularly enjoy their job. And, the feeling of being self-employed is something that might burn inside of them, but equally they find it a really scary prospect, and they look onto you and they see this brave person who has taken that step, who has done that thing, and somebody who is willing to follow their dream. Now, this isn't the reason that they don't support you, and actually it probably isn't that they don't support you in any way, shape or form. They probably do support you wholeheartedly. What we usually find is that people are receiving feedback from those closest to them. One, in a form of protection. So they want what's best for you. They want to protect you. They don't want you to get hurt. They don't want it to be hard and difficult for you. They don't want you to feel like you have to keep going to prove a point. They don't want you to suffer. They want to protect you. They want to keep you safe. Now, they might say things like, is it really worth it? You're working so hard, you're not making enough money. You might have to go and get a job because you're not making enough money, etc., etc., etc. And, you might immediately go, well, they just don't support me. I don't feel supported. And I get that. I totally get that. But what we first of all got to look at is what we're doing in order to perpetuate this. So the first thing to look at is, number one, it is probably through utter love and support that they're giving you this feedback. Number two, now this is a big one. Now, if you go home, or if you're working at home and your partner comes home, or, you start to talk to your parents about what you're doing or whatever it might be, and you're full of gripes and groans and everything that's going wrong and how hard you're working and how difficult it is and all of that stuff, if that's the feedback that they're getting from you, then they're going to protect you. They're going to say, oh, look, do you know what? You're really stressed. You're really miserable. You're really uptight. You're really tense. The whole point of you being self-employed was to set you free, was to allow you to do that thing that you loved, and you're turning it into this awful thing. If your feedback is very much from the, oh, it's really hard, it's really heavy, it's really negative, it's really this, it's really that, it's really the other, then they're going to feed back in a way that they feel is the most protective way to feed back to you. So be careful of your language. Now, I'm not saying that you can't give the truth and give the reality. Now, I'm not saying that at all. But make sure you're balancing it up with the good things that happen during the day, with the wins that you've got, however small and however insignificant and however you think that they might not understand it. Feed that back too, because if you can feed back a balanced day, if you can feed back good stuff that was a bit tricky, then you can show them that you're working from a place of absolute love, that things are going well in certain areas, maybe not in all areas just yet, but that you can see possibility and potential. You can see what's transpiring. You can see, the good stuff in your business, because then they can support you from a place of balance. If you're only feeding back that this is so shit, I can't do this, this is really hard, then they're going to feed back with something that they feel is the very best help and support to you. Now, like I said, that doesn't mean that we have to sit in the positives all of the time. But equally, we often do this to justify our day. Now, you don't need to justify your day. You don't need to make it sound like it's really difficult and awful. And if you've done good things during the day, if you've had wins during the day, if you've had great things happen during the day, then, dress that up. If there are days where you want to go, yeah, I've had a good day, it was great, thanks, then do that, but make sure that the feedback from your side isn't a perpetual negative motion, because then they have to feed back and try and protect you. They have to come in and give you, that out. They are doing that from a place of love and a place of protection and a place of kind of wrapping you up warmly. Most of the time it isn't meant to be nasty. So the other thing is, what did you make it mean? So we can get feedback from people and we can catastrophize that feedback. Now, I know that very often the feedback that I receive from particularly the male members of my family, there is no vibrational undertone to it. It is what it is. They're telling me what they're telling me. I don't need to read anything further into that. I don't need to read any more into that. We can make things mean something quite different to what was actually delivered. Now, if you feel like you have potentially catastrophized some form of feedback, I would like you to write down in black and white what was actually said. If you can remember word for word what was actually said, even better, right? But if you can't remember word for word what was actually said, paraphrase it. Then look at, what did it mean? What's the truest, most direct, uncomplicated thing that meant? Then I want you to look at, what did I make it mean? So you can go, what does that mean? As in the most simplest form of that sentence, what did it mean? What did I make it mean? Because what you made it mean can be very much attached with where you are right now. If you're looking for and you're seeking out negativity, you're seeking out evidence that you can't, you're seeking out that you're not supported, you're seeking out all of this kind of evidence subconsciously, then you could have made it mean something very different to what it meant. So do make sure that you're checking in with what you made it mean, and also that you're checking in from the place of, did they deliver that from a place of protection, a place of love, a place of wanting to look after you, or was that delivered maliciously? Now, sometimes things are delivered maliciously. I know, there will be occasions where somebody says something and you think, oh, actually, that was a bit mean. But you don't need to carry that with you. What I would say is, make sure that you've got support around you of people who do get it, of people who are self-employed, of people who will celebrate that little win, of people who can pick you up if something small or, bigger has happened. Make sure that you're surrounding yourself with a squad of people who can be your surrogate business family. Now, I know that lots of the girls in the Beyond Ordinary Business Hub, that is, they are there to support one another. If something's gone wrong, now we're not a whingy community by any stretch of the imagination, but if something's happened or if somebody's feeling a bit crap, there's a rally around those people to make sure that, that they're looking at it objectively and subjectively, that they've got the support that they need. So if you feel like you're out there on your own, then you don't have to be. You can make sure that you join a business community that is full of conscious people, because the last thing we want is for people to help you catastrophize that further. Conscious people who can support you in order to, go through those days. Because whether you've got a job or whether you are self-employed, there'll be days that are good and there'll be days that are bad. You can have the very best job in the world. You can love your job. doesn't mean you won't be, every now and again, subjected to a bit of a bad day. So let's keep it in perspective. Let's always look at the place that that person is delivering that information from. Let's make sure that we're not fueling the delivery of that information by always being in a negative place when we're feeding back about our business. And let's make sure that we've got that support squad around us that can help us and lift us and move us forward. Now, for lots of friends and family, the evidence is in your progression, and as you progress, they become increasingly invested and increasingly confident in you. Let me tell you that my brother still has no idea what I do. He calls me Chandler Bing. He says that she's the girl who nobody knows what their job is. And my dad even read my book and didn't even quite get what it was that I did. So that's okay. You know, that's totally okay. I can explain it to them even more. I can go further into it. We've talked about it. But actually, if it's not their thing, then that's good. And, you know, my brother will say, this is my sister. She does something online and she's really successful. That's it. So we don't always have to have everybody completely get it, completely understand what it is, completely be on side. But what we have to do is we have to manage our input into it. We have to manage how we receive any of that feedback. So I hope that's been helpful for you. Have an absolutely ace day and I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Before you go, do make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you've hit that little ting ting bell so that you get notifications every time a new YouTube video goes live, because I would love you to be part of the YouTube community. If you've got any comments that you'd like to make on this video, then please do. You know, I absolutely come back and have a look at the comments and get involved with the conversation a little further. And if there's anything that's coming up for you around this, we can clarify, you know, a little bit more. We can go into your questions, whatever works for you. So have an ace one. Bye.